Да. Добрый день.
Good afternoon. I'm happy to welcome you in our spring session, Clean Tech and Industrial Symbiosis for Russia's green economy, challenges and new possibilities. This is wonderful for us today, colleagues, to be taking part in this hybrid session because there is a wide audience which is observing us online. And the spring session is definitely a spring session, and the spring session because it's going to be short and very dramatic. And I'm very thankful to our colleagues who are going to join us online. These are going to be our international colleagues and experts from all over the place. And as a moderator, I would like to introduce to you our project of our roadmap, EcoMet, which is being formed as a part of the Agency for Initiatives. And I think it's going to be extremely interesting. And we're going to show you the clean tech aspect of the roadmap as well as other sets of initiatives in conjunction to it. We're going to listen to our international experts, and I'm very hopeful we are going to hear their opinion as regards this roadmap, and we're going to engage into the discussion. And closer to the end, we're going to show you several international consortium initiatives. These ideas are one of the top 1,000 of ideas of the Forum Strong Ideas for the New Time, and one of them is one of the top 100. And all this is going to be discussed with you for the first time. We're going to take active part in the discussion of these ideas and initiatives and projects of Saint-Petersburg International Consortium of Clean Tech Technologies. And let us take a closer look at the project of the roadmap of the new EcoNet market. While the PDF is being uploaded and the roadmap is being uploaded, I would like to say that very recently this map was introduced in the Forum Strong Ideas for the New Time, and there were working group members. This is a working group that was engaged in the construction of this roadmap. And as you can see on the slide, there's been a very hard work done. This is the project of the roadmap. We're going to be very brief, and we're going to highlight the most important moments that correlate with our today's event. And to my mind, the working group members defined the market as a complex of environmentally friendly products and processes which work towards the efficiency and development of closed-loop economy. This is very close to the ideas which we're very interested in. As you can see, before we describe this market, we defined the starting point where Russia is today, being so ambitious, setting those ambitious tasks in front of it. The starting point, you can see it's among its different indices. We occupy the first place in the entire rating and entire index. However, we are engaging into the continuous improvement, and so that we ensure the transfer of Russia to green economy. We have defined the segments of the market. You can see climatic solutions, new materials, environmental effects of these materials, but unfortunately we do not have that much time. We are most important is the Ecotech Greenet. We're extremely grateful to our Finnish colleagues, to whom it's the national idea. I'm not going to jeopardize this opportunity for our Finnish colleagues to talk about that, but we have signed an agreement with our Finnish colleagues, and it's been 2 years that we have been working in this venue, and we've been able to include it into our set of tasks. The environmental symbiosis are related to packet solutions, which we're going to discuss today. These are all sort of cluster solutions that have been very successful in the recent 5 years. As well, it's very important, and I think it's a definite advantage of the current market, is green finance. Not every emerging market can boast in its own finance, its instrumental finance. There are considerable obstacles that make us let's hurdle a bit this transfer from to a closed loop economy, and there is a whole set of slides dedicated to that. This presentation is going to be online. It's going to be on Cluster website and on the website of the Agency for Strategic Initiatives, and you will be able to take a closer look to the format of the working group. And after the defense of this roadmap, we will be able to share it, and it's going to be exhibited for further discussion. As you can see, a set of services and the key projects that we have engaged in. You see the Center of Industrial Symbiosis in Russia, and members of Saint-Petersburg Cluster of Clean Technologies are active members of this project, and one of our colleagues is going to dwell upon that. You can see here a whole set of ideas, green finance, including green crowdfunding, and together with our Norwegian colleagues, cluster members, we have a wonderful project implemented in St. Petersburg in clean energy field, and we are creating crowdfunding platform for financing green projects together with our Norwegian colleagues. We're very hopeful that you can see. This is the time my battery is up because this is my alarm, lest I not get carried away. So as you can see, our best practices listed, and the last slide I wanted to pay attention to is the market map, and you can see the whole set of companies very interested, willing to participate, and St. Petersburg Cluster of Technologies for Urban Environment is on the list. So I'm just browsing through the presentation, hoping that you would get interested. I'm very hopeful to that you would take a look at it closer. And the representatives from all across our country are in the working group, but the majority, a third of the group, are from St. Petersburg, and de jure and de facto, this is a technology of the Russian Federation. Thank you very much. I would like to give the floor. As a moderator, I would like to give the floor to our next speaker, Ms. Tatiana Krychkova, Deputy Chair of Global Business Russia of North Rhine-Westphalia. The floor is yours. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I hope that you can hear me. Yes, we can hear you. Let's stick to the timeline. You're given 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation, dear colleagues. Good afternoon. I'm Deputy Chairperson of NRW Global Business Russia of North Rhine-Westphalian, and I would like to talk about some initiatives that have been undertaken in North Rhine-Westphalian in order to maintain clear technologies. Is there anything going wrong? I apologize. North Rhine-Westphalian is located with Düsseldorf as a capital. It's a very developed region, and you can see it has a very high GDP, and it is a quarter of the total German GDP. And we must highlight here that the energy aspect is very important here, because it has been the source of coal for many years and of energy naturally. And of course, it is the place of metallurgy and all related fields. And the main accent is the renewable energy. And as you can see, a considerable number of companies and concerns are engaged in this field. And the infrastructure is also very developed. And the institutes of, as well as institutes of business development that maintain the development of this field. Environment and environment initiatives is also maintained on the level of the federal government of Germany. And as regards all branches that contribute to the development of the branch. This transportation, mobility, this clear energy, hydrogen fuel, electromobiles, and reduction of harmful emissions and artificial intellect. And companies, including Russian companies who would like to invest in those initiatives in Northern Rhine-Westphalian have definite advantages. In electromobile industry, there are maintenance packages. When you buy an automobile, there's a considerable incentive in thousands of euros. But apart from that, there is a federal initiative of Germany in the development of hydrogen economy and the promotion of hydrogen technologies and research. One of the initiatives is the program Aim for Climate NRW, which is the platform which targets education, dialogue, and work in the sphere of environmental clear technologies. The planned investment in 4 years are 16 million euros, and a roadmap must be developed, and purposes and ideas, research projects should be implemented, and as well as tasks and the plan of maintenance of clear technologies. In North Rhine-Westphalia, the focus on clear technologies and industry, and everything works toward it because the industrial sector is extremely well developed and is very welcoming towards the clear technologies. As well, North Rhine-Westphalia is one of the chief consumers of energy in Germany, and it is a huge consumer on the general European level. There are lots of storage spaces for oil and gas and electricity, power stations which are bound together in smart nets, and there are highly qualified specialists and organizations. There have been over 130 projects that have already received the financing for the total sum of 230 million euros, and the financing is done partly from the budget of North Rhine-Westphalia and partly by the European Fund of Regional Development. There are also projects in hydrogen and other fuels, and there are other projects on research of fuel and membrane and exchange membranes, which are used in Westphalian High School or Westfälische Hochschule, and there are also institutes engaged. The Rhine Institute of Technologies engaged in projects. It is also going to be engaged in projects on transportation on the base of hydrogen fuel and fuel storage and accumulation of fuel. There's also the H2 Stahl project, which is the energy for metallurgy. Especially interesting is the experience of one of the regions of the partnership, which consists of 50 participants. It's been engaged in implementation of technologies and promotion of technologies and application of hydrogen. What is also very interesting is H2 Mobility project, which works towards the construction of network of hydrogen fuel tank stops, gas stations, basically with hydrogen stations. There are partnership networks, NRW, which unite specialists from industry, research specialists, research institutes, in their joint work in the development of hydrogen technologies and projects. Now, clear technologies. There are over 100 partners engaged together. This is part of, it works on the platform of energy agency of North Rhine-Westphalian. Our organization also supports companies that want to come out onto the market of North Rhine-Westphalian and develop the project, including its own presence in as regards clear technologies. Probably some of you knows our Honorary Invest company. The 1st of November marked a restructurization in which two regional structures were modernized. Now we work together as a new brand, NRW Global Business, and we are the agency of North Economic Business of North Rhine-Westphalian. One of our main tasks, as before, is as location of business in NRW and the exit of NRW towards the markets of North Rhine-Westphalian international markets through our region. Here you can see our contacts. You're always welcome to contact us should they come up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was very interesting. Unfortunately, the presentation was very brief, but I've seen lots of things in common. We speak a common language. We live in the same land and on the same planet, and we are working towards the fulfillment of the same tasks in our lands. Thank you very much. I would like to give the floor to Ms. Evelyn Lutfi, who's Business Development Director in Russia Greenet Finland. She's also a member of the Board of Directors of Clear Technologies. Please.
Слышно меня?
Да, спасибо, можете говорить.
Да, благодарю за возможность принять участие.
Thank you very much for inviting me to take part in your forum. And if I understand it well, it's been the 6th year that we are taking part in events of this scale. And it is wonderful to observe the dynamics of the development and such new notions as of sustainable energy in the United Nations is it's a very active term in the United Nations. And when we talk about international cooperation, we must have the common grounds and framework for cooperation. I represent the company called Greenet Finland, and we have been so generously presented by our moderator. And a couple of words as to how we took part in Saint-Petersburg Cluster of Clear Technologies formation. And now we are quite approaching our adolescence. So technical pause. We are living in very dynamic times, and sometimes we have technological hurdles. To fill in this pause, I'm going to engage in talking, and I would like to say that it is very important to exchange the experience between the regions, disregarding who they are and where they are located, because we have common tasks. Oh, yes, thank you. Let us continue. Thank you very much. This is the introductory slide. You can see 4 main themes we are working with. And there are out of 17 UN purposes. We are a Finnish cluster which is engaged in responsible environmental and clean tech business. And we are developing smart and low-carbon urban environment, and we engage all representatives of society, and we are committed to preparing, implementing high-quality clean tech development project. We work with urban spaces, and we organize our activity around a goal, and we solve particular tasks. We are a non-commercial organization, and we are registered in Finland. This slide demonstrates three thematic venues we engage in. So our existence on the 3 main pillars is on housing, development of spaces, transportation, and transportation of things and humans and products, and finally how we consume it. And this the burning issue for all these three pillars is energy efficiency and removal of carbon footprint. Here in this slide, there are our thematical foci. There is recuperation of heat, heat recovery, efficient storage, generation of heat by hybrid sets, and there are also there's also very up-to-date technology like heat consumption and mobility and closed-loop economy or circular economy, as we also call it, and demolition of buildings and the reduction of harmful emissions and harmful impacts. And I'm going to talk about that too. The second box demonstrates the programs that we engage in. We are a non-commercial organization, and we are financed by public funds, mainly by the European Union, Finland, and regional funds of development. You can see them here, and other slides are going to show you our projects in more detail. And we're very open to all cooperation. And we work with Finnish entities registered in Finland. But apart from that, well, since we're engaged, we also cooperate with different clusters and organizations in the Baltic region, and we create projects with a set of business cases and working groups, and we maintain fruitful dialogue around every particular goal. And we use modern models without which the implementation of new approaches is impossible. And here in brief, you can see the members of our association in correspondence to our main three pillars. You see our energy companies with help from Helsinki region, London Energy, and their construction companies engaged, and administrations of cities. And they are also parts of our association, and a considerable number of companies of small and medium-scale businesses. As to our big networks, I've already mentioned the engagement into the international consortium Saint-Petersburg Cleantech Cluster for Urban Environment. We are a co-founder and co-founder of the Partnership on Climate, and we are also members of the Baltic Cleantech Alliance, and this is also one of our very important projects. And our joint work with different organizations, our annual engagement with them, and it goes up to around 200 stakeholders. Currently, at this moment, if we talk about our development projects, these are energy, sustainable cities, and communities, and responsible consumption and production of goods, and we're also very active in minimization of harmful emissions of carbon dioxide. You can also see logos of the projects we are working on now. The presentation is going to be online, and you will be able to see our projects. You can see on our website and get detailed information on every project. These slides will show you our linkages as to which whom we work on with project with, and which is another very important and relevant project is heat recuperation, heat storage. It's not only Finland, but also northern regions that are very interested, very keen on the solution of this problem, because heat consumption and energy consumption, these moments do not always coincide with natural arrival of those. Therefore, we need to develop technologies on heat storage and energy storage. Another important project, and we are currently engaging in some pilot projects, and it is related to a very important tendency, which is generation of heat by people themselves. It is also the centralized heating and heat generation and generation of heat and energy by separately taken buildings or individuals who own the buildings. So the era of monopolism in energy production is gradually receding into the past. And another important project, we are engaged in a project with the Association of House Owners. It's the Catapult. And the Catapult, and this is the association of different sectors, like business, power, and small-scale and average-scale business. This is a very important subject. People have talked a lot about that. It's very simple, but it's not that easy in practice, because when we talk about transsectoral, all-national projects, we try to solve them on clear and understandable levels. As for our international projects, there is one project that targets Asian region, Asian Pacific regions, and this is the implementation Northeastern Asia. It's mainly Malaysia and China, and we also have two projects that we implement by the funds of regional development, European regional development, and they're also related to circular economies. I hope that I stuck to my timeline. I'm very keen to answer questions if there's time left. Thank you very much. Let us postpone the question and answer session till the end, because if we face a technical hitch, then our other colleagues wouldn't be able to present their papers. I suggest that we all stick to our timeline. And let me give the floor to Alexander Bilich, who leads the project Baltic Industrial Symbiosis. This project, this is one of 100, the top 100 ideas and top 8 of ideas on green economy. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Can you hear me? Yes, please. Thank you very much for this opportunity for presenting the project. I'm going on to the slides. I would like to talk about the Baltic Industrial Symbiosis project and how it is being implemented. What is industrial symbiosis? It is a concept of business development and of territory development that makes resources of one enterprise also resources of the other enterprise. And the first mention of this concept can be found in Coburg, a city where the colleagues have been working. They were constructing industrial symbiosis networks. This is a very small city with 10,000 people living in it. Our colleagues who are taking part in this project, this is the Danish center, and it is very eager to share its own ideas and knowledge and experience in industrial symbiosis. And there's been 13 organizations out of 6 countries, including the Reg Group and the Saint-Petersburg Cluster and Mineral Enterprise. Within the project, Tyreman Group took up the responsibility to work in 4 directions. So first would be research, and I'm happy to see that this theme is being widely interested in, because research is a very important aspect which defines the possibilities of industrial symbiosis to be adapted in Russia. And with the help of the Danish Symbiosis Center, there's screening of companies has been done. And within this activity, we've defined resources which could be shared for the production of other products. Within this framework, creating symbiotic networks is being studied. We are doing tests and probes, and we are studying the opportunities of incorporating them into production chains, and this gives us live laboratories, which encourages us to develop those ideas further. The screening of the possibilities of participation in those chains were done, and 15 companies took part. Here you can see the territories and their locations. So logistics is very important here. It's the industrial biotic chains must be constructed in accordance with the location logistics demands, and because it could happen that resources are selected erroneously. We're also doing lots of testings. We try out different chains, different industrial chains, and we try to define how interested these companies are in the exchange of the resources. In March 2021, there is a set of events to take place, and there's going to be a roadshow, And the participants of this process are going to share their opinion on this concept and on their plans. They're going to be international experts who are going to share their experience and their views. And we're very hopeful that we will be able to conduct this event. We are very hopeful to make it part of the International Environmental Forum Baltic Sea. As for the Living Lab, which is being open now, it is going to be the place where we do not always provide companies with spaces for testing out the industrial symbiosis, but it is going to be a place for collecting examples from our partners from Denmark, from Finland, from Norway and Sweden. We can accumulate them and present them within the framework of our live laboratory. And the idea of industrial symbiosis is not new. However, it is potentially open for implementation in Russia. And according as we can see, when there is a wish, there is everything. And I'm very happy that we can not only strive for practical purpose, but also do research. And we're hopeful that we'll be able to accumulate all those examples, not only for our living lab examples, but also for further academic research. Thank you very much. I'm happy to answer the questions. Thank you very much. It's a great shame that the pandemic situation doesn't enable us to go and see the laboratory, but I actually did see it work, and I've seen new industries created with the application of resources, and I was very impressed. And despite a very difficult situation, the laboratory keeps working and, which is important, developing. And we let us hope that next year we will be able to come and see your laboratory. This is going to be very interesting. Thank you very much. And I would also like to say that the idea of the cluster was presented and transformed, and our Russian colleagues suggest to develop it into the ecosystem through the industrial symbiosis. So there's a certain change in the perception of the new knowledge, and I hope that our new colleagues and our Russian colleagues who are going to present, that we will be able to make a decision together that if anyone would like to join in, so that we create an ecosystem based on our best practices and Germany's best practices and other lands' best practices, the country's best practices. I would like to give the floor to Jantanen, to the advisor from Laboranta. This is one of our colleagues who's going to be we are talking about green economy, and this is the lifestyle. And Terry and I are very into sports, into jogging, into running, and it is not only work, it's also the lifestyle. Please, the floor is yours.
Так, осталось только звук в терхе, да?
Developed and very green city. We have a very
Okay.
university. And City of Lappeenranta's target is to be carbon neutral in 2030. And in October, Lappeenranta was awarded by Green Leaf competition. What it was for middle-sized European towns, and why? Lappeenranta promotes very strongly, for example, renewable energy. And we are recycling our wastes. And about urban mobility, the city acquires only biogas or electric cars. And also water purification is very important. And we have lots of companies working within clean technologies. So the next year will be a very special year. And we are organizing lots of events and promotion projects related to this clean technology and sustainable city. And now I introduce some solutions of our green network. There are about 50 members in the network. And as Evelina previously introduced GreenNet Finland, we have similar kind of organizations in our network. So there are cities, municipalities, big and small companies, and universities, and so on. And the first case is related to water purification. It's the first example, first case. And the company called Flow Rocks has developed with our university a system that destroys about 90 or 99% of pharmaceutical of the hospital wastewaters. within this project, we are developing virtual reality city center. And here you can see some new products which they look like concrete, but they are made of the wood and mining industry side streams. Yes, it is. And this will be a noise barrier in Lappeenranta. And the material, it's called geopolymer composite. And about the catapult project, Evelina already told. And we are promoting new business innovations related to energy and eco-efficiency and urban mobility, and also circular economy. Then a couple of cases related to new kind of electrification. And now it's kind of like the second wave of electrification. And within this context, the carbon dioxide is a valuable raw material. And one company called Danfoss, who is a member of the Green Reality Network as well, developing a new kind of power systems, the energy systems for heavy vehicles. And it will cut down the emissions very strongly, and it can be used, for example, in the ferries. And City of Lappeenranta is also developing a new kind of heat thermal energy storage. This kind of system replaces fossil fuel, and it makes renewable electricity, and it can be used for district heating. And we are also developing an industrial-sized production pilot of carbon-neutral fuels. There we are using the CO2 that comes from the company who is making the cement. And Kemira is a chemical company whose side stream is hydrogen. And combining these and technology of the university and a company called Wärtsilä. They are creating a new kind of fuel, and we also make storage for that. And these fuel companies are also within this pilot, and they will get new kind of renewable and CO2 neutral fuels for different kind of transportation, for example, airplanes, cars, lorries, and also Finnair is with us. And some other cases where we also use the CO2. Lund University and a company called Solar Foods. They have produced food protein using carbon dioxide and renewable energy. And a company called Solar Power, they have developed a building ventilation system that makes people more well-being and productive. They are capturing the CO2 from the ventilation. And when it's combined with the hydrogen, it can be a kind of fuel. And one more company case is Aurelia, who produces small gas turbines. And they can be used hydrogen, biogas, and synthetic gas, as well as other renewable and non-standard fuels. And you can find some more information of our solutions in our net pages. Thank you very much. And I will finish with the Saimaa seal picture, who is living in our lake Saimaa. It is the only place where in the world this animal can survive. Yeah.
Спасибо большое.
Thank you very much. You have demonstrated wonderful examples, and this proves that Lappeenranta deserved its Green Leaf Award. I would like to give the floor to our colleagues from Saint-Petersburg Cluster, to Mr. Sibirev, and our colleague is not only the representative, is also the curator of our cluster, and our cooperation with Technopark of St. Petersburg has reached its 5th anniversary, and this is going to be not only about our joint work, but also a very important one. Thank you very much. I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity and to congratulate you on getting into the shortlist for the strategic initiatives, strong ideas for the new times. Congratulations, and I hope that you're going to continue the development. As if to be brief, the project that we applied with was the network of regional clusters of clear technologies of green economy of Russia. According to our application, we are going to create clusters in every region of the Russian Federation, which would be responsible for green economy and green environment. I'm going to tell you about our organization. We are the structural subdivision of the Technopark of St. Petersburg. I will tell you about ourselves. I'll browse a little bit further. We are the Center of Cluster Development and a subdivision of Technopark St. Petersburg. We were created in 2014. Our main purpose is maintenance and creation of regional clusters. We are curating 16 clusters from different branches of industries, like St. Petersburg Cluster of Clear Technologies for Urban Environment, and other clusters like Logistics, Energy, Composite Cluster, Fashion. If to be brief, we have achieved considerable results. We got over 600 million rubles from federal and regional budget to maintain clusters and support of 850 small-scale and average-scale enterprises. We are promoting our knowledge, and we always do advanced learning for representatives coming from regions. 15 regions came for vocational training. We implemented 3 cluster projects, which was SafeNet, RITSREP, which is an engineering center working with radio electronics, and AFES Engineering Center, which does medical substances. This project allocates a special role to us, which expresses itself in the fact that we are coordinators between different clusters in creating networks of regional clusters of green economy of Russia. Our cooperation with the cluster of clear technologies is coordination between different subjects, and since we know how clusters are created, what obstacles there are, what methodological means we need, and we are very eager to help anyone who would be interested in constructing such clusters. We are eager to engage in organizing events, to provide consultancies. Why do we organize clusters? We do that in order to join companies together to represent their interests in front of the federal organs, and this is why the Center of Cluster Development maintains and supports cluster initiatives. And our last task is integration into the international world network of the markets of clear technology. And this the outcome would be the general unified network, which is going to be international and which will protect environment from harmful impact, and it'll engage all sectors of economies, so this is for a very good purpose. So this is the history of development of the St. Petersburg Cluster of Clear Technologies. As you can see, growth is apparent, and taxation was been very our tax return was very considerable. This is only St. Petersburg, so the federal budget and St. Petersburg budget as well. We have 44,500 people working, engaged in this cluster in 2019. The purpose of the project is to make the environment livable and environmentally and to make our living environmentally friendly. And our main target is the promotion of cooperation in all chains within the segment of ecotech and greennet and other markets, and the maintenance of territorial clusters of clear technologies. And there's also organization and implementation of effective and mutually advantageous programs and projects which target informational, financial, and technological and other financing. So these are our aims and goals, and we're very hopeful we're going to achieve them all. And we've got the green light from the Center of Technological Initiatives, and we are planning to implement our new knowledge into new territories of the Russian Federation. This project cannot be implemented without the federal support, and in general, I hope that we are going to enjoy fruitful cooperation between us and the cluster of and the Cleantech Cluster. And as Nikolai Vladimirovich, the chairman, said, we've been together for 5 years, and we are hoping for further fruitful cooperation. Thank you very much. Thank you. And there's we've discussed that with the director of the center, and we can be so bold and proclaim that within the framework of this idea, which is in the shortlist, in the and top 8 in the green projects, I think it makes sense to combine the project on Symbiosis and the project on network of cluster developments, because this is going to be an instrument to engage in industrial symbiosis. And I think that today we can announce that also de jure and de facto we are starting to create this ecosystem which is going to unite our ideas, knowledge and resources, and which have been greatly encouraged and supported by strong ideas for the new times. I'm going to give the floor to our colleague. This is the final presentation for today. Our colleague, I will kindly request our colleague to stick to the timeline. This is Ms. Malovina, who's head of the Department of St. Petersburg Fund of Business Development. Thank you very much. for giving me the opportunity to present in this event within the framework of forum, which is a hybrid format. And I would like to highlight that today Ms. Yankinen spoke about Lipin Rantovna, and Tatiana Alexandrovna spoke about green transport and green energy in Rhine-Westphalia in Germany, and an amazing presentation of an international project was that of Alexander Billich about industrial symbiosis. When we talk about green technologies of development, we understand that we need some profile event, a forum that would engage all key players on circular economy on the international level. Therefore, in order to continue a whole set of initiatives of the cluster, there was an idea coming up on arranging a Baltic Circular Economy Forum, which is going to take part supported by Saint-Petersburg administration. And there's going to be agency of strategic initiatives, platform NT, and a whole set of international projects. I would like to highlight that the forum is going to unite leaders for development of best instruments and tactics that are going to be used in the transfer from linear to closed-loop economy. And an important feature of the forum is going to be the unification of the international experience, the application of new solutions and visualization of solutions, as well as the increase of environmental knowledge. The forum is going to present a whole set of formats for environmental education, promotion of projects and initiatives, and establishment of new contexts. There's going to be a discussion platform, a congress program, exhibition zone for the demonstration of best solutions, as well as visits to companies and key institutions. Of course, there's going to be a competition of green startups for new ideas in clean technology. I would like to say that the focus of the sector are going to be three key segments in 2021. They generate the most part of consumer waste, and these are smart energy and smart house. This is MICE tourism and hurricane smart tourism. The forum is going to take place in April in 2021. It's going to unite over 500 participants and over 50 speakers. It's going to be online. It is going to be 5,000 people joining us online, following our presentations and absorbing the ideas we're going to prepare. The event of this scale is going to work towards the promotion of the whole set of targets and aims of sustainable development, and Baltic Circular Economy Forum is going to be supported by St. Petersburg Cluster of Clear Technologies for Urban Environment, which was founded in 2014 and which unites over 60 companies and 44,000 people and over 20 billion rubles. And there's also going to be the Year of Germany in Russia. And we are working closely with the Russian-German Chamber and Chamber of Commerce, and we're very hopeful that the companies from Russia and Germany and Finland are going to engage together in new programs of this important event. Thank you very much. We're very open to further cooperation and open to your questions as well. Thank you very much. We have almost no time for discussion. Let me take the liberty to to finalize here and speak about the results of our today's session. We started from different regions and different countries, and we all presented your country as well. And there were wonderful examples given and best practices presented of different regions. And so we, at the end of the session today, we have, in conjunction with the Center of Industrial Symbiosis and the network of clusters, as well as from our colleagues from St. Petersburg Fund of Business Development, whose idea is also one of the top 1,000. It is the startup projects and acceleration networks. They also join in, and now together we have the opportunity to use the platform and the new knowledge and exchange our best practices. And there's also been one more cluster of Sustainable Development 2030. And many of us are members of this platform. This platform is joining in the construction of the ecosystem. This is where we obtain the international expertise. And this is an innovation platform. We have 6 projects involved and a considerable amount on financing. And thank you all very much for joining in with us. Thank you for sharing your ideas, as well as for making joint decisions that we are going to stick together and make a joint effort so that the results of our activity become the framework for further development of the industrial symbiosis in Russia. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank the organizers. We have spoken about that. The International Consortium of St. Petersburg Cleantech Cluster was founded in one of the forums of St. Petersburg Innovation Forums. Our participation wasn't accidental, and it is fruitful. And let us take it for granted that this is where we report on our achievements. Thank you very much.
Изменились ли мы? Стали другими? Или остались собой? Принимая время, место, обстоятельства. Главное, не остановиться сегодня, чтобы стать сильнее завтра. И знать, мы вместе, и это все меняет. 30 лет. Ваш «Газпромбанк».